Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the chakras and being an empath and highly sensitive person. And I think the chakra system has become quite a popular topic in the last couple of years, especially in the last 10 years. And it's going to start evolving and changing as more and more information is out there and more people are interested in this topic. I know I'm definitely getting a lot more interest in my emails and with clients about how to work with the chakra system on a really practical level. So this is something I'm going to be doing in an upcoming online course, and I will be offering discounts for anyone on my mailing list. So feel free to join me in my mailing list for future updates on discounts and also when I'm going to launch this course. But I'm really excited to be doing this because it's been 20 years of putting all this practical information and working with clients on this topic. So let's jump straight into it. I'm going to be sharing three things about the chakras, specifically for empaths and highly sensitive people, and how we can use it in our daily lives. So getting really practical. If you want more information about what the chakras is, I'm also going to leave a link in the description so you can read up more about it. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to stick to all the practical tips that you can work on, because I know that sometimes we can know things in theory and we can read about things, but putting it into practice is sometimes the biggest challenge. And firstly, I also want to say that one of the reasons I think this is becoming more and more interesting to people is because the healthcare system is changing. People's options are changing, our sensitivity is evolving, and more people are consciously actually realizing how sensitive their energy exchanges are. So the first tip I would say is to really become more aware of your own sensitivity and to honor it, because I think especially in, I would say, growing up, for many people, being a sensitive person was always something that was not encouraged. You know, I hear this from my clients. I know this from my own story as well. People just say you're too sensitive, or you need to toughen up, or you'll get nowhere in life if you are a sensitive person. And actually, the systems in place now don't really support the sensitivity of people. You know, you think about spaces like open offices, just very random but very real example of the type of clients I work with. Working in an open office, sometimes for a sensitive soul, even though they can do the job, there's a lot of different distractions and a lot of different energy going on. So in the workplace, in the school place, in education, in the general kind of outlook of how people are, sensitivity has always been something that people have looked as a negative thing. But I'm going to challenge this and say it's time to embrace it, especially if you are an empath and highly sensitive person and you know this. Embrace it, because nowadays having that awareness and that sensitivity is going to get you so much more, I would say, knowledge and depth of information, especially as we navigate these transformational times. Think about the amount of news and media and information and changes that are going on in our world today, and having that sensitivity, we can tap into all these different facets on a much more deeper level. So encouraging ourselves to embrace our sensitivity, to honor it, to find new ways, like with the chakra system, on how to work with our sensitivity. Building tools, you know, building a self-care tools that you can use on a daily basis is going to be something that's really important. And I have also an exercise you can do for a self-care journal, where you can add very simple things during the day that won't take very long, and it will also give you that space to recharge your own energy, because I think a lot of the times as empaths and highly sensitive people, we're giving off a lot of energy, or we're having a lot of exchanges, or picking up a lot of things, but we're not able to hold space for our own energy as much. So having those tools in place is really, really vital. And it can be just as simple as mindfulness throughout the day, or maybe just having a 3-minute breathing exercise. Little things like that really add up, especially if you're doing it throughout the day and you're encouraging yourself to recharge your energy and also to be aware of your sensitivity. So I'll leave all the links again in the description for some tools on that, and we will dive into that much more deeper in the course. The second tip I want to give you is that one of the things 9 out of 10 times I see in clients when we're working with energy therapies is the need for grounding, really anchoring into the space of the lower chakras. It tends to be that if you are somebody who classes yourself as a sensitive person, and actually in general, I see this all the time, people tend to be more either in the head space or just generally in their upper chakra space. So from the heart space working upwards and less down into the body, less down into the more physical things, less down into the earthing and the grounding. And as an empath and highly sensitive person, this is essential, finding those grounding tools and making this part of your self-care. Also clearing out a lot of the things that we pick up in our lower chakras. Remember, the lower chakras are the energy exchanges we have on a daily basis, on a physical 3D level. So the things, the places, the people, the situations we interact with in our physical world. And the upper chakras tend to be more about the higher frequencies of tuning into the more subtle realms. And as empaths, we're very good at picking up things from our upper chakras, but not so much about grounding. And in these times, grounding is going to be really, really important. Especially as I'm making this video, we have the North Node in Taurus, which I will leave again another link about that information, but essentially it's the energy of going towards the energy of Taurus, which is a very earthly energy. It's about grounding ourselves downwards. It's about getting into our senses, getting into our body, getting into the simple things in life that give us pleasure. It's about material goods and resources on a daily level and being more self-sufficient. So I feel like, especially in the next 18 months and beyond even, we're building these foundations, and grounding is going to be an essential part of doing so that we can take all the energy and all the inspiration that we're getting from our upper chakras and bringing it down into the real daily life, the mundane things, the routines that we have, the business we want to create, the different ambitions and aims and goals, whatever that may be for you, just anchoring it down and taking those physical, practical steps on a daily level. So grounding can look like getting into your body, getting physical, going out for walks, working on your root chakra, thinking about survival, and what survival means to you. The word survival can sound very harsh, but actually in this day and age when we are going through transformation, survival and finding resources for survival is really, really important. So building tools for that. On an emotional level, the things that we're picking up, releasing a lot of the energy tides and the energy cords that we might have had for years and years. And again, we are being supported to let go of a lot of that energy. So energy cord cutting, working with the second chakra, being very mindful of the emotional attachments that we have. And the solar plexus, working with the fire energy to move forward, to get anchored into the physical world through that fire passion. So breaking through the barriers, the fears, the doubts, all the things that maybe we were conditioned to think about ourselves, especially as a sensitive person. The most common one is that we're told that we're too sensitive and that we need to toughen up. And, that's a very common thing that I hear with a lot of people in my own journey. So breaking past those conditionings and those limitations through the solar plexus, and then of course working with the heart space to anchor ourselves down. And in our course, we're going to combine a lot of these chakras together, especially to work with sensitivity and how to clear up those spaces in the lower chakras, and also to anchor through the heart space. And yeah, just really practical breathing exercises and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to dive into that grounding, because I think this is a whole topic, a whole video in itself, a whole course in itself, that needs some really serious exploration. And even in my own journey right now, this is something that I'm getting back to. I have to always remind myself to go into the grounding mode, to be in nature, and really just connect back into the body, versus being in the headspace, which can be very attractive to do. You know, we can get lost in so many of our ideas, or the things that we're surrounded with, or the things in media, social media, things like that. So just getting back to the basics of the physical world. And the last tip I want to give you is about working with your strengths. So I've already talked about, you know, the grounding, things that we need to do, especially with the lower chakras. And the strengths are our upper chakras. So these are the places that I find are very strong with my clients and within myself. I just feel like it's just a natural thing that if you're sensitive, you're more in tune with the upper chakras, which is a great thing, but sometimes it can be an overload, you know, and everything has to be balanced out. So if you're doing the grounding, it's taking that energy from up there and bringing it downwards, you know. So working with the strengths as well as the grounding in the lower chakras is a fantastic way to balance out your chakra system. And our strengths is definitely our intuition, you know, working with the third eye, working with asking ourselves on a daily basis questions so that we can activate our inner knowing. You know, even very simple things like if you are just going to get a cup of tea and you're not sure which one to have, just intuitively asking your intuition which one feels good right now to take, and then just seeing what comes up and going with it. And sometimes having that conversation is a place where you can open more, or open and hold space for your intuition to get louder, because many of us have sort of dimmed down our intuition, or maybe had a mistrust for our intuition and prefer the logical mind. But if we can just go back to the creative, more receptive, some would say more feminine energy of just receiving that inner knowing, we can actually use that to enhance our journey, to know what's right for us, to go through the next goals and the next steps that we need to do in our life in a much more intuitive way. And I find that it actually helps us to enjoy the process more, instead of looking straight ahead and what we need to achieve and just aiming for that and not enjoying the journey. When you use your intuition, you can actually see it unfolding, you can enjoy each step fully, and you can start to see how your trust in yourself is actually growing, because you're getting more in touch with your intuitive self. Having said that, the crown chakra, I feel, is very open for most intuitives and empaths and highly sensitive people. But the thing I would say is to work with the throat chakra. This is a big one. With the upper chakras, I would say, needs sometimes more work than the others, because the throat chakra is not just about communication, but especially when our needs and values are changing, we need to learn how to communicate in different ways or release in different ways. And the throat chakra opens up those spaces where we can start doing a lot more releasing, finding our voice, channeling our expression into different areas of our life, be it our work or our personal life. And I feel like sometimes this is an area that does get closed down more than the other chakras. You know, the intuition tends to be quite strong, the crown chakra tends to be quite strong, but the throat chakra sometimes does need a little bit of work on. And the good thing about the throat chakra is right next to the heart chakra. So I always find that if you work with your heart space, you naturally have that beautiful release through the throat chakra. And a very easy way to do this is to write in your journal. So having a journal practice, getting it out of your system, finding the expression through creativity as well, that works not just with the throat chakra and the heart chakra, but also that works with the second chakra, which is a creative center. So you can see how all of these chakras work together, and it's not just an isolated chakra in itself. So that is definitely an area I would recommend looking into, working on the throat chakra and the lower chakras as part of being an empath and highly sensitive person. So I hope some of these tips find someone out there finds some inspiration in one of these tips. And as I said, I'm going to go into this much more deeper in my upcoming course. I'm going to get much more practical and show you how you can tune into the chakra system and work with different areas together, and how you can put these things into your daily real life. So it's not something that you need to suddenly change your life completely. You can if you want to, but I aim to make it something that everyone can just put into place in their life as easy as possible, to build those healthy energy habits so that we can nurture ourselves on a deeper level. And if you join my mailing list, you will be the first to know about the discounts and the offers in this course and also in upcoming courses. So I look forward to that, and I will be back soon with another video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to share as well, and I will be open to getting back to you there. So thanks for taking the time to watch. Have a beautiful day. Salam.